How can I run a 32-bit app on 64-bit OSX 10.7.2? I have an app that only exists a 32-bit version. In order to use it, I used to press 2 and 3 together before booting the Mac, so it'll run in 32-bit mode. However, some apps, 64-bit version that installed before, will always crash in this mode. I happen to see a solution that run 32-bit app in 64-bit system. But I tried with arch column /applications/the app.app is an executable error. I checked the file permission and it shown drwxrwxrx, it should be executable. Edit, as at GD1 said, the app.app is a folder, it's called bundle in OSX I think, and so it is not executable. But I still need a workaround. How can I run my 32-bit app in my 64-bit system correctly? Edit, I can open the app with Arch now with the command, thanks at Gordon Divison. However, the app run with components lost error, log shown below. BTW, the .app, I hate it. But I need it, is used to connect to network in my university at China. Edit. And. It seems it's 32-bit only and depends on the 32-bit kernel. Oh, I'm so sad. Sad face. Here are some infos I got with the help from at Gordon Divison, maybe someone else need it. The doc shows some methods to temporarily start up with the 32-bit kernel to use older kernel extensions for the third-party software or hardware. And it is about compatibility with the 64-bit kernel. Third-party software, such as a virtualization engine, or hardware, such as a sidecar, that relies on a kernel extension which was compatible with Mac OS X server version 10.5 may not work on Macs that use the 64-bit kernel in Mac OS X version 10.6. Contact the software or hardware vendor for an updated kernel extension that works with the 64-bit kernel in Mac OS X server v10.6. As a workaround, you can temporarily start up with the 32-bit kernel to use older kernel extensions for your third-party software or hardware.
OSX doesn't have an overall 64/32 bit mode. It runs individual programs in whatever mode seems best when they're started. Holding 3 and 2 as the computer boots will make its kernel run in 32-bit mode, but this has nothing to do with what mode programs run in. OSX can happily run programs in 32-bit mode under a 64-bit kernel, or programs in 64-bit mode under a 32-bit kernel. If your program only includes 32-bit code, it will run in 32-bit mode without you having to do anything special. You can check this by running the file command on the executable, generally in appname.app contents and macOS appname. Here are a few examples. You can also get some of this information, although not in as explicit detail, from System Information's System Report, in the Software, Applications section. If an app has both 32 and 64-bit code, you can select which one to use in the Finder's Get Info window for the app. There'll be an Open in 32-bit mode checkbox, or by using the arch command on the executable, e.g. arch i386 applications, through app.app contents macOS through app. But you normally shouldn't need to do this. The OS does a good job of picking the best mode. One instance where you would need to manually override the mode selection is for plugin or library compatibility. If you have a 32 and 64-bit app, but it needs to be able to load a 32-bit only plugin or library, you'll have to force the program to run in 32-bit mode. If you have 64-bit programs that won't run right under a 32-bit kernel, they either have some sort of weird bug, or there's something even stranger going on. If you give the specific details, we might be able to figure out what's actually going wrong. Edit. It looks like the app is 32-bit only, and installs a 32-bit only kernel extension, kext. While the 32-bit app portion can run under any kernel mode, the 32-bit kext can only load into a 32-bit kernel. It's like a plugin for the kernel. You can run the kernel in 32-bit mode by holding 3 and 2 at startup, or permanently with the command sudo system setup set kernel boot architecture i386. See Apple's KB #HT3773. Note that it shouldn't be necessary to do anything special to open the app in 32-bit mode. Since that's the only format included, it'll run in that mode no matter how it's launched. In particular, the arch command is not necessary. If you have any 64-bit apps that don't run properly under a 32-bit kernel, that's a separate issue, and I'd recommend posting another question about that.
If you want to support the channel, please consider subscribing.